Hello, ndikulandirani kuphunziro lathu lero pamene tikupitiriza ndi trigonometry 2 phunziro limene limaphunzitsidwa mu form 4. Trigonometry 2 lero tiona lesson number 3 ndipo mu lesson number 3 tiona problems involving cosine and sine rule. For the past lessons in trigonometry 2 takhala tikuwunikirana za cosine komanso sine rule. Muli ndine Siselo Juma. Mu phunziro la lero tiona sketching diagrams from a given information. Ikamata phunziroli mutha kukwanitsa kupanga sketch diagram concerning trigonometry when you are given information. Number 2, you need to know how to calculate bearing of a point using sine and cosine rule. Tikamakamba za bearing tinaphunzira mu trigonometry 1 lesson 4, so I advise you to go revise that video and come back, continue with this one. So we are going to use that to calculate angles, and we are also going to calculate distances between 2 points using cosine and sine rule. Let's look at the first point, whereby we need to know how to sketch given information. Sketch diagrams from given information. Okay, so here we have information that's saying triangle RQS, where RQ is given as 10 centimeter, RS is given as 14 centimeter, and QS is given as 8 centimeter. Now the question is find R. So you need to know what you are given. In this scenario, you know that akambapo za triangle apa, which means your figure has to be a triangle. Akambapo za RQ is a distance, so you will have that distance. Akambapo za RS is also a distance, you have that distance. QS is a distance. Now it's there they're saying angle R. It means you are going to have an angle, so you need to put those in mind when you are approaching this problem. The first thing is to have a triangle. Put up a triangle. It's just a sketch, okay? And that triangle is labeled as P, Q, S, and RQS, okay? RQS, and RQ is that distance. It's given as 10 centimeter. RS is given as 14 centimeter, and QS is given as 8 centimeters. Okay, so in this case you can label it. In this case you have Q here, you have small s that side, and you have small r that side. Okay, so given these parameters, they're asking you to find that angle, which is angle R. Okay, now given this information, you know that you have two tools. You have cosine rule, which is given as, okay, anyway, we'll get that later. Then we have sine rule. Okay, let's look at the simpler one, sine rule. Can we use sine rule to find angle R in this one? Okay, so let's look at it. In this case, for sine rule, you have sine R over small r should be equal to sine Q over small q should be equal to sine S over small s. Okay, so we know RQS zose zatipatsa kumano ma angle palibe mene adipatsa. So what it means, sitingakhale ndi element imodzi, section imodzi imene tikudziwa zonse. In this case, it's R amene tikufuna timpeze, which means we'll have this one. But on this one, we can only have that one. We don't know Q. On that one, we can only have that one. We don't know that one. Okay, so in this scenario, sine rule cannot work. We need to find another rule now, which is cosine rule. Okay? What does cosine rule? So in this case, if it's to find that angle, it means the cosine rule will read like r squared, okay, the opposite of that, which is s squared plus q squared minus 2sq cos, in this case, r. All right. So let's put up our figures. Here, r is given as 8 squared, s is given as 10 squared, plus q is given as 14 squared, minus 2 in bracket. Our s is 10 times our q is 14, then cos r. Okay, so our cos 8 squared, that's 64, is equal to 100, and the 14 squared, that 196 plus 196 minus 10 times 14, 9 times 2, that's 280 minus 280 cos r. Okay, so let's put like terms together, or let's just make cos r a subject of the formula. So you have cos r is equal to, okay, uyu ndio udapitoko, uyu sabitoko, so it will be 64 minus 100 minus 196 over, in this case, minus 280 minus 280 over minus 280. So that will be 64 minus 100 minus 196. That gives you minus 232 over minus 280. So that and that will go 232 divided by 280 on your calculator. So cos r will be equal to 232 divided by minus 280. That will give you 0.828571 for 286. Okay, so for us to find r, it will be cos inverse on both sides. So you have cos inverse 0.82857. Yeah, that's 71 mabito. So if you find r, so you do cos inverse, that figure will give you 34 degrees. So angle r, therefore, you can say therefore angle r is equal to 34 degrees. Okay, simple. Let's go to the next slide. Actually, now we want to calculate bearing of a point. Now we are going to use the same cosine and sine rule. Okay, on this one, we need to sketch first of all. We need to sketch. We need to put that information into a sketch. So you have a boat which sails 4 kilometers from point P on a bearing of 38 degrees to point A. It then sails 5 kilometers on a bearing of 67 degrees to point B. Now the question is, how far is the boat from its starting point? To calculate the bearing of point B from point P. Okay, so in this scenario, let's start by sketching this problem. We have to know that we have point P. Okay, let's have point P. Okay, our bearing is measured from the north, remember, from the north. Okay, so that's point P. You can say that's point P. And in this point P, we are saying at 38 degrees, the bearing of 38, okay, the bearing of 38 degrees, inaenda distance yotalika 4 kilometers ukafika point A. Okay, ukafika point A. Alright, at point A inapitilira kuenda a distance of 5 kilometers, but now on a bearing of 67. So from point A, we are going also to put up our north line indicator. Okay, from there akuti inaenda 67 at a bearing of 67 degrees. Okay, so let's say that's 67 degrees to point B. To point B. So we have sketched all the information. Now the thing is, how far is the boat from its starting? That's the starting point. So how far is that boat from here? That is the distance. Okay, that is the distance. If you look at it, then we have created a triangle. Okay, and that triangle, there it's A, there it's P, and there it's B. Okay, that's, let's label them. That's small b, that's small p, that's small a. Small a, we don't know. How far it is. The boat it is from P, how far it is. B, to the 4 kilometers. P, to the in the 5 kilometers. Let's put up that. Okay, that's 5 kilometers. Okay, so they want us to find A. In this case, if we know one of the angles, which we can find from the figure here. In this case, since we want to find this one, let's find that angle. If we find that angle, then we can use cosine law to determine PB, which is the distance of boat B from point P. So, for us to find that angle, we need to know our geometry. If you look at this setup here, if you drop that line, you will find out that line, let me point, this line and this line are parallel. So these lines being parallel, it means this angle and that angle are alternate. So being alternate angles, it means that angle and that angle are equal, which means there is 38 degrees. Okay, so we know this angle, but we still have to know that angle as well for us to have a total angle of that one, the total angle A. So for us to know that, we know from that line is a straight line. And the angles on a straight line, angles of a straight line is 180 degrees, which means if we know this as 67 degrees, we should know the remaining angle. Okay, so that remaining angle is going to be 180 minus 67, which will be equal to, let's use a calculator, 180 minus 67. That's 113. Okay, which means this angle is 113 degrees, and this angle is 38 degrees. So what is the total angle? The total angle will be 113 plus 38 degrees. So if you punch on your calculator, you'll find out that is 151, which means this angle is 151 degrees. Okay, so having that information, abantu pambali, remember, they are doing this pambali. Okay, then you get back to your problem. Okay, we have also established that having that, we can't use the sine rule. Cosine rule is a simpler way to use it. So it will be a squared, that's what we need to find, will be equal to, in this case, b squared plus p squared minus 2bp, then cos 151. Okay, so a, we don't know. B, we know it's 4. P, we know it's 5. Minus 2bp, 2 in bracket, what is b? 4 times 5 cos 151. Okay, so here you have a squared will be equal to 4 squared is 16 plus 25 minus 420, that's 40 cos 151. Okay, which means a squared will be equal to, let's punch that on your calculator. So here you have 16 plus 25, that's 41. 41 minus the bracket, 41 minus, so that's negative. If you put that on your calculator, you find out it's negative 34.98. Okay, so this will be a squared will be equal to, so negative, that's a positive, will come negative positive, so you have 75.98. so a, you carry out square root on both sides, carry square root on both sides, you have 8.71 kilometers, which means the boat is at 8.71 kilometers from point P. Okay, that's the first part of the question. Okay, that's the first part of the question. Let's take this out. Now let's look at the second part of the question. The second part of the question, they're saying calculate the bearing of point B, from P. This point B from P. So the bearing is to calculate the angle from the north. B is from P. In this case, we just have to find that angle. If we find that angle, fine and good. Ndekuti patikizira 38 plus angle P. Okay? For us to do question 2, we need to find angle P. So for us to find angle P, in this case, from this triangle, we know this side A as 8.71 kilometers, and we know that angle, we know that side, we know that side. Now we need to find that angle P. Okay, so for us to do that, we can use sine rule. Okay, so we can just say sine P over, this is question 2, that one question 1, sine P over small p, that one should be equal to sine A over small a. But sine A, we know that is sine 151 over, our A is 8.71. Okay, and In this case, we know that sine p over small p we know it's 5, will be equal to sine 1, 5, 1 over 8.71. Okay. Yeah, let's proceed there. Here we have a sine p. We make subject of the formula sine p. It will be equal to 5 sine 151 over 8.71. Okay. Then we find sine inverse. Okay. So p will be equal to, let's do sine 151. That will give you 0.4848. If you multiply that by 5, it will give you 2.4 something. If you divide that by 8.71, it will give you sine p as 0.2. I have just simplified the above. 0.2783. Okay, so take sine inverse. Here you remain with p. Sine inverse on the other side. Shift sine inverse also. It's giving us 16.2 degrees. Okay, which means this p is 16 degrees. We can just say 16.2 degrees. So bearing is the whole of that. Therefore, we can say therefore the total of that angle. Let's find therefore we can say bearing of B from P will be equal to, it's north, that angle south. Okay, so it's gonna be 38 plus 16, and 38 plus 16, that will give you 38 plus 16, that will give you 54 degrees. In this case, since it's a bearing, it will be 0.54 degrees. Okay, it's as simple as that. 0.54 degrees. That's the bearing of that. Okay, let's go to the last one. Yeah, in this last one, we'll try to see how it is, but it's the same as the first one. They're saying a police unit P is located 800 meters due of a health center H. Bearing of a community. The bearing of a community house from health center is south 15 degrees west. And the bearing of the community hall from police unit south 40 degrees west. That, how far is the community hall from the police unit? Okay. First of all, we need to consider, we know that bearing is measured from the north. Let's put our north here. Okay. Okay, starting point. In this case, starting point, our starting point is H. So then it's H, that's our starting point. A police unit P is located 800 meters of health center H. That's health center H, but the police unit is down. $800 meters. That's the police unit. That's 800 meters. I mean 800 kilometers. 800 meters or kilometers? Okay, let's just use meters. It's the same thing. Just want to demonstrate. So it's that. The bearing of community hall C from the Hefe center is 15 is south 15 degrees west. South 15 degrees west. Which means south, north, south 15. This is west. This is west. South 15 degrees west, which means this one. Okay, and the bearing, there's a C there. Okay, community hall C from the Hefe center is that one. 15 degrees, that one. And the bearing of the community hall from police unit is community hall from police unit is now the bearing of community hall from police unit. Now it's from there, from that point, and in this case is south 40 degrees west. S 40 degrees west. So it's this angle now. So it will be like that. Okay, and that's another way of indicating bearing. Okay, indicating directions, I mean. Okay, so south west 40 degrees. Okay, from that point. Then we have C. How far is the community hall from police station? So in this case, afuna mugeze CP. Okay, so in this case, it's like we have created a triangle, and this triangle is like this. I have H, and this is 15 degrees, and that is 40 degrees, and this is P, and that is C. So they want you know this side, 800 meter. Okay, so yeah, so as it is, you can know this angle. Okay, angle sum of a triangle. So it will be 180 degrees minus 40 minus 15 minus 40 minus 15. That's 125 degrees. It's just a sketch. It's just a sketch. That's 125 degrees. So if you have that, if this, I think you can use even sine rule to find this one. Anything can be cosine rule or sine rule. So I'll leave this one in your hands and find the answer. See you next time. Thank you for being there.